Alright guys, today is the day. Yes, I am quitting my job. I am going to submit my 1 week notice today. Yes, I am in the bathroom. This word most people go before they quit their job because your heart is beating. You're trying to question yourself, is this the right thing to do or not? And you ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? So guys, this is it. And when I put this piece of paper in, that is it for me in a 9-to-5 work.
And believe it or not, that was me in that video. This was back in October 2020. This was we were like 10 months into the pandemic at the time. I think the last time I had got a haircut, it was like in January of 2020. And then everything in South Florida started shutting down around February. So that was around this time. And at the time, I was living in Pompano Beach, Florida, but I was working in downtown Miami at a temporary service as a recruiter. And I had just typed up my email, my resignation letter, rather. I had just typed up my resignation letter. I went into the bathroom and that's when I recorded that video. Prior to me pressing send, it took me about an hour, man, after I typed up that letter. It took me about an hour. I was just sitting there at my desk and I was like just contemplating, is this the right thing to do? Because you sometimes second guess yourself. And even though in my heart of hearts, I knew it was the right thing to do, but I still was second guessing because when you do something for so long, you get accustomed to it. And then once you kind of, veer off that path or you get removed from that pattern, you start to feel kind of uncomfortable. So I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that once that email hit the desk of my supervisor, there was no turning back. My life from that point on was gonna go in another direction. It didn't matter whether I got cold feet and decided to rescind my resignation and they accepted it, or they decided to uphold my resignation and send me on my way. But needless to say, neither of those happened, or neither did those happen. I stood firm on my decision, kept my faith, because I knew everything at that point was gonna work out. Now, was I terrified when I hit that send button? Of course. But to be honest with you, I was more happy than I was terrified. And the reason being is I had worked and prepared myself for this moment. So it wasn't like I got up that morning, went into the office and said, hey, I quit and I'm done. I had already prepared myself for this moment. So when you heard me say prior that I had faith that it was all gonna work out, I didn't have faith that it was all gonna work out and I didn't have a plan. I had faith that it was gonna work out because I did have a plan, and that's the difference. And after I hit that send button, it was like I was on edge, and I just stayed on edge until I got a response from my supervisor, because to be honest with you, I didn't know how they were gonna take it. I was just sitting at my desk waiting. I felt like I was on a game show Jeopardy with the music just going doo 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 doo. And one of the reasons why I didn't know how they was gonna take it, because I didn't give them a 2 weeks notice. It was more like a 7-day notice. And the reason for that is because I had secured a contract, a freelance contract from a client, and they were trying to get me on board ASAP. And I stalled them for like 7 days. And I didn't want to stall them for any longer because I wasn't gonna miss this opportunity for me to leave this 9-to-5. So I just gave them 7 days notice. I was like, hey, they'll find somebody. And just as I figured, they was not too happy with my resignation for whatever reason. I think it's because the company was trying to or starting to expand. And I think they had plans for me to run another office. But to be honest with you, that was not in my plans. I had no interest in doing that. Now, maybe short term, I probably would have done it, but long term, I had no interest in doing that. Long term, my only interest was doing exactly what I'm doing now, working for myself. And I could tell they were upset at me because the owner of the company, after I sent my resignation letter, he didn't speak to me from that time until the time I left, not even to say goodbye, good luck. And I had worked there for like 3 years. But man, listen, my feelings were not hurt at all. I was ready for my life to go in a different direction. And once I had that conversation with my supervisor, my tension level started to come down. I started to loosen up a little bit because that proverbial load that I was carrying from working this 9 to 5 was finally being lifted, because at this time, I knew I couldn't change my mind and go back. And when I tell you this was the best day of my life, I've been enjoying my life ever since. I've always wanted to live and work abroad. Matter of fact, I just always wanted to live wherever I wanted to live without being tied down to a job. So it could have still been in the US, but I just always wanted to be location independent. And that's what I've been able to do since 2020. I've always wanted to create my own schedule. And again, I've been able to do that also since 2020. I get up when I want to. I go to bed when I want to. I eat lunch when I want to. I don't have anybody monitoring me, telling me you got an hour or you got 30 minutes. Nor do I have to worry about those little small 15-minute breaks that they give you. And you know what else I don't have to deal with? Those silly company meetings that we have to sit in, wasting everybody's time. And another thing I ain't got to deal with is those silly weekly sayings, like on Mondays, "Oh, happy Monday. How was your weekend?" And then when Wednesday come around, "Happy hump day. We're almost there." And then when Friday come around, "Thank God it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend." Man, that shit drove me crazy. None of it seemed genuine. It all seemed robotic. Like on Mondays you say this, on Wednesdays you say that, on Fridays you say that. Man, I couldn't take it. It was driving me crazy. As I mentioned, it was a long time in the making. But prior to that, there was this one incident that really just got under my skin. And I was like, you know what? I really can't do this anymore. And it was a time where we were celebrating my mom's 70th birthday party. And you guys know I'm from Alabama, or if not, you don't know, I am from Alabama, and I was living in South Florida. And so I asked my supervisor, well, not ask her, I sent my request in, that I'm gonna need this day off because I'm gonna be traveling to Mobile, my mom's 70th birthday party. We're planning something big for her. And she had the nerve to reply back to me saying, let me think about it because, we're getting busy. You know the stuff they say. And I was like, "Bitch, I ain't asked you to think about it." I'm telling you, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you this is what I'm gonna do. And that just didn't sit with me well. You know what I'm saying? Being a 40-something-year-old man and somebody telling me that I can't do something. I was the type of employee that would never call off. I don't take days off. Even when I'm sick, I go to work unless it's just really, really bad. But I don't take off because I got a common cold or a tummy ache or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always at work. So when I put my request in, I'm not expecting you to deny it. I'm expecting you to approve it. And I'm not asking you. So that situation there, man, it just got to me. And I was like, I got to get out of here. So let's get back to after I sent my resignation letter over. Now, it was scary knowing that I was about to enter the unknown. I'm not going to lie and tell you it wasn't a little scary. But one thing I learned throughout my journey is that when you're entering the unknown, that's typically when your life starts. And your life stops when you enter into complacency. And for the average person, it's vice versa. But for me, indeed, my life had just begun. And I want to say this also. Working for yourself requires extreme discipline. So if you need someone to tell you what to do or wake you up in the morning, follow up with you, this isn't the lifestyle for you. Unless you work for a company that allows you to work remote. That way you still have some type of support and coworkers to kind of, follow up with you. And then you got a supervisor that's checking on you. But even then, that still requires some type of discipline. And me, I'm extremely disciplined. I'll get up and sit at my desk 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I will sit there all the way to 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. at night if I have to. Of course, I get up to stretch, get some water, eat lunch, dinner, bathroom. But after that, I'm back at my desk sitting. And I rarely allow distractions. And I also don't drink while I'm working. Even though I know I can, I just don't do it. Also, working for yourself doesn't mean you're gonna be working less. If not all, many cases, it means you're gonna be working more and making less in the beginning. When I first left my 9-to-5 job, I was working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. When I decided to work for myself, I knew that I had to work at least 60 hours a week. But the beauty of it to me was I was able to spread those hours out over the course of a week. And I also could adjust my schedule to work those hours however I saw fit. Now, some of you guys are saying, oh man, 60 hours a week. And for me, my logic is that I would rather work 60 hours a week for myself and be able to control my schedule and spread that out over a 7-day period than to work 5 days a week in this 8-hour time frame for somebody else. And here's the kicker. I was also making less than when I was working my 9 to 5. But I knew that I was going to move abroad. So I wasn't calculating what I was making as a freelancer working for myself on the lifestyle I was living in Florida. I was calculating what I was making what I was going to make as a freelancer by the lifestyle that I was going to live here. And when I did that, the numbers made sense. And I have a better quality of life. I upgraded my lifestyle. I have more disposable income, and I have more time for my family. So guys, if you have a skill set, do whatever you can to find a way to offer your skills and service to people. That way you don't have to be tied down to one location or a company. Now, I know everybody's not cut out to be their own boss. I get that. And I'm not talking to those people because I understand that we need subordinates in this world in order for society to function. And listen, this newfound freedom has rejuvenated me. I get up every morning feeling good. I tell my wife all the time, I have no reason in the world to complain about anything. I live in this beautiful country of Dominican Republic. The weather is great year round. The people are warming and welcoming. And if I wanted to go to the beach and work every day, I could. Or I go to any coffee shop, sit on a Malecon and do some work, I could. I'm not saying this to brag or boast. What I'm saying is the freedom in itself has been worth everything I sacrificed to make this happen. And I'm not saying you have to move abroad. You can stay in whatever country you live in currently. All I'm saying is find a way where you could be location independent and free up some of your time. So please don't look at this as I'm rubbing it in and saying, oh, look at my life, because be honest with you, I'm just a regular guy. And the life that I live is easily obtainable if you do the work. I just want to give motivation to everybody out there that has a skill set and want to share it, but is scared to take that first step. And I'm telling you now, take that first step, start doing the work, but make sure that every decision you make aligns with your end goals. Because when I worked that job, every day during lunch, I would go to my car, I would either read a book or an article that was related to what I wanted to do. Or I'd be taking an online course that I had bought, or either watching YouTube videos that was directly related to the skill set that I wanted to learn. And sometimes during that hour, I would go to my car, write down my goals, repeat them out loud multiple times, envision it in my head, take a 15-minute nap, and then I would let the universe put it all in motion while I rest my mind. And guys, if you haven't listened to anything I said up until now, listen to this. You cannot create while you're in survival mode. It just doesn't work. You can't be thinking about what happened or what's going to happen and then try to create. Because if you do, it's dead on arrival. And when I learned this simple concept, I started to be more productive. I started to get more things done, and things around me just started falling in place. And when they say you can create your own life, you can. You can create your own life. And I'll touch on that in another video, but not now. So I just wanted to share with you guys how I went about quitting my 9 to 5 and moving abroad. By no means am I telling anybody to quit their job. I'm gonna leave that decision up to you. I just wanted you guys to know how I did it. Maybe you guys are in the same situation I am and just scared to take that first step or that next step. And I just want to give you some type of motivation, because if you're ready, you're ready. Or if you're not ready, what you need to do to get ready. Just don't go in there and quit your job. You want to make sure you have a plan. I tell everybody that all the time, do not move abroad without a plan. And I told you guys before, being an expat and living abroad is everything, but it's not free. You gotta have a way to support yourself. So until the end, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you can live your best life. I'm out.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no, no.